Michelle, Martina, thank you so much for making time to speak with me. Congratulations on this new single that we're going to be talking about. But more importantly, thank you so much for making sure that Canadian rock is still alive and kicking in Canada and around the world. How does it feel not just being in this type of a genre that is so needed today, especially after we've been through for the last almost 2 years, but just bringing some good time music to us because, like I said, with what we've been going through, I think it's time to rock. Definitely.
Agreed. It feels good.
Yeah.
Tina, yeah. Feels really good. I mean, we recorded this song back in January when things were still pretty dark and uncertain. And I think it gave us new life and energy and motivation to just rock out, even if it was in a studio for a bit. But it feels good to share the music with everyone and for it to be released at this point.
Yeah, it feels
Yeah.
like a long time ago, that whole recording process, it kind of was. But yeah, like Michelle said, it even just getting in the studio was unreal for both of us as an experience.
Well, I want to talk about the recording process. We're going to talk about the single in a second, but I want to get into how the two of you got together and met. Martina, I'm going to let you start off. How did the two of you meet? Like, what was the?
Our love story begins. It's a long, like, interwebbed kind of story between how Michelle and I met, how my partner Jay and I met, who's one of our bandmates, and how Steve as well, another bandmate, all kind of got together. And so it started with Michelle and Steve, who is our sound engineer and musician and writer. And he was working with Michelle on some of her solo projects. And I'll let her get into like her background. But Michelle met Steve. We met Steve, Jay and I, and then that brought Michelle to my door. And then I just knew that we always knew that we were going to do something together for all these years, and it finally came together. Kind of, we've been sending each other songs forever. We've been working on her music, working on my music, and then we're finally doing something together after what feels like a lifetime.
Michelle, if you'd like to continue, please.
Yeah, of course. I met Martina through her partner Jay, actually, because I used to be the tour manager for his band. And then prior to that, I worked at a record label he was signed to. So we've known each other for years, and we met on the road and just started sharing songs with each other. Martina shared Gemini with me one day, and I was like, this song is rad. We need to do something with this song. And we got into the studio finally in January, and it was just one of those moments where everything connected so quickly, so easily. And it's been like that ever since, which has been awesome.
Well, I love the video itself gives me like an 80s kind of thing. We're going to talk about that. But the song itself and the fact that you two are together cuz it's funny I was trying to think to myself other than Heart, I don't know really any other female Canadian duos. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, duos, nothing really comes to mind immediately. There's a lot of great bands and solo acts that come from Canada for sure, but I can't, other than Heart, either think of anything.
And I think that's really important, especially because of the movements that have been happening in the last couple of years. How does it feel then to be able to represent like that in an age where young women are now looking, uh, basically saying, hey, I can do whatever I want. Now they see the two of you together doing what you're doing in this genre, and they're going to go, well, hell, if they can rock out, why can't I? I mean, you guys could be just putting in a slew of young women out there who are going to be able to follow in your footsteps.
For sure.
So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So here we go. We talked. You kind of mentioned about the name of the single. Let's jump right into that. And Martina, I guess you're the best person to explain what is that new single called and what is it about because it's very personal for you too.
For sure. And so the new single is called Gemini. Like Michelle said, we probably wrote it, or I wrote it 2018. I shared it with her. I immediately knew that I wanted her voice all over it because she's my favorite female vocalist, so why not? But It means a lot to me. Like, I love astrology and those kinds of, like, that whole world, and so does Michelle. And I am a twin, and although I'm not a Gemini per se sign wise, I've always kind of felt like the duality of being a twin, and like she's also a female, so there's the whole two sides. We're very different. We're two sides of a coin, and so that's what I wrote the song about my sister, but also it describes the relationship between Michelle and I as well. Just kind of like the two sides. She's a little bit more lioness, and I can be a little bit more shy, but then we can also both kind of flip as well, and we both have our quiet sides, and I definitely have a loud side. So yeah, I know it's personal to me because it reminds me a lot about my sister and growing up having, you know, a female role model kind of right beside you that is supposed to reflect you, but we couldn't have been more different. And so yeah, it means a lot to me. But couldn't have done it without Michelle in the studio. She added a lot of great lyrical content. Jay and Steve also brought like a masculine kind of very rock and roll kind of layer to it. But I think between the four of us, we all kind of completed it, and we couldn't have done it any other way.
Michelle, let's talk about the recording process for this single. What was that like? I know I've spoken to a lot of artists this last year and a half. The creative ways that they have come up to record songs, their music, during this pandemic, I think is amazing. Whether it be at home, whether it be, using Zoom, whether it be, whatever, getting in the studio, being not allowed in the studio. Yeah, you're in studio, but only this amount of people are allowed in. How did the recording process happen for you guys for this?
Yeah, so luckily, I mean, me and Steve have always recorded remotely. He just brings his setup, and we will record in an apartment, in his basement, in his living room. So Jay and Martina actually built out just a little home studio at their place, which is where we ended up recording the song. Steve and I made our way to Kingston, and like I said, it was such an easy process. I think because we had all also worked together on previous projects. Jay and Steve write together a lot. I write with Steve a lot. Jay and Martina write together a lot. So when we all got together, it was so cohesive, so natural. And yeah, just a good time. We always have a good time hanging out together. Good vibes all around.
I love it. Martina, let's talk about the video, which is very cool. Like I said, it had like an 80s-esque kind of thing. How did you guys make such a cool video? And again, I got to assume this is during the pandemic.
Yeah. Again, it was at Jay and I's place here in Kingston, and we were luckily in the process of renovating one of our rooms into a nursery. I'm a new mom, so I just had a baby.
She was also 8 months pregnant when we shot that video like a champ, like for 10 hours, was just serving looks and didn't complain once. She was the MVP.
I have to look at this video again now. This has got a whole new esque on this. I knew you were glowing, but I didn't know why. I thought it was the music or something. Sorry, so continue. So you guys, Kingston, you guys get together. So what happens?
So we had basically 4 walls that were all white, and we used it kind of like a green screen situation. And then, yeah, it was very... considering it being the pandemic, it was just us in the group, and then our videographer, and it was to the point where it was just Michelle and I kind of like standing in front of a wall, and Steve and Jay holding these huge industrial fans just blowing our hair. And so it was literally like a home video. We had the home video going as well, and it was just it was fun, and it was easy, and it didn't require anything. Michelle was the main kind of artistic inspiration. She had the vision for most of the shots, and yeah, I was just hiding the baby bumps as well as I could, but also representing it at the same time.
You know what? This is the thing that I love about what has happened. I mean, the pandemic, it's a horrible thing and everything. We know that, and all the other things that have been going on. But I love the creativity that everybody has been doing when they're going, okay, well, I don't have a big budget. I can't get out there with a big crew. I can't get out there and do this. Let me try this. And what you guys come up with is amazing. Like, to me, this is the way the video should be for the song. Agree?
Yeah, 100%.
I love it. I love it. So with a great single, does an EP or an album follow this?
definitely. We already have our next song recorded, so you'll be hearing about that shortly. But the end goal is EP, hopefully spring of 2022, ideally.
Okay, fantastic. Martina, what about tours or virtual performances or anything like that? Is anything happening with that?
We're definitely interested. It's unfortunate with the timing and the times right now for planning tours. It's kind of up in the air, but I think alongside that EP in the spring, you'll be seeing some Harlette tour dates for sure.
And as we wrap this up, first I want to say, as we speak, happy Thanksgiving to the both of you for family. Happy Halloween as that's slowly coming up. Any plans yet on what's going to be happening over the Christmas? I guess I can still say Christmas, but the holiday season. Any plans on that? And has there any thought of doing maybe a holiday jingle or something for us?
Why not?
Let's get on that now, Martina. We hadn't had it on the books, but I think we can figure that out.
We've got some studio time here at home for sure.
Would love to hear it. Maybe, I don't know, kids rock song. I mean, since you are the new mom, so
I'm mom now, so I guess I got to switch over to my demographic is changing.
I gotta say thank you so much. This was so much fun. Congratulations on this great song. Looking forward to talking to you guys again when the album comes out. And more importantly, thank you so much for representing Canadian rock, because the thing that always sticks in my head is, and I was talking to somebody else about this recently, when Gene Simmons said years ago, rock is dead and whatever. And I see artists like yourselves going, what the hell are you talking about? No, it lives, it grows, it conquers. And Canadian rock is right there on top in my books. Thank you again so much for the interview, and looking forward to talking to you both in the future.
Thank you so much.